everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and this time we're going to be doing a fill-in and tool repairs. So as always, we're going to start off by removing the gel polish, and as always I'm using a coarse drill bit. Make sure that when you're picking your coarse drill bit, you want to make sure that it's a safety one because you don't want to damage the natural nail. And also, since I am in my new room now, I am using my nail drill, the Scarlet Drill by Melody Susie, so I'll be sure to leave that information down in the description. And then also I'm using my Valentino nail table that comes with the dust collector, which I am absolutely loving. So again, we're just removing the gel polish, and then here I'm also removing that glitter that we encapsulated the last time. So again, you want to make sure that you're using a coarse drill bit. If you use anything lower than a coarse drill bit, it will take you a really long time to finish removing all of the gel polish, and especially when you're removing any glitter that's been encapsulated. And on this nail, make sure that you pay attention to that green spot that's on the nail, because in just a few seconds, I'm going to educate you on what exactly that is. I actually call it a greenie, but there's people out there that call it all type of different names. But the last time that I did her nails, we did do a new set. So again, I will give you more information on that in just a few seconds. Hey everyone, so we are in the middle of the video, and I'm sorry that I interrupted, but basically I just want to come on here really quick and just educate you very quickly on what that green spot on her nail is. So it is, the technical or scientific term for it is Pseudomonas. It's a Pseudomonas bacteria. You've probably heard it called mold or a greenie. So basically I'm just going to come on here and tell you what that green spot actually is. So I found some information on Tammy Taylor's website, and basically their thing is called, is it mold or fungus or greenie? So it's gonna just tell you the difference between what a greenie is and what a fungus is, but today I'm only gonna be reading you the part about the greenie because that's what we're talking about. So first off, it says when a greenish black discoloration appears on the nail plate, which is that green spot, it is most likely a Pseudomonas, a type of bacteria infection, aka the greenie. They call it a greenie as well. It says the greenies are caused from moisture being trapped between the artificial nail and natural nail. So that's when your acrylic lifts and then they get water trapped under there, and then the water stays in there, and this type of bacteria grows in like water or soil and other things. But when it gets trapped underneath the nail and there's water in there, that's where that bacteria comes from. And then with that water being trapped under there, it causes that green spot on your natural nail. And then it also says the greenie, aka Pseudomonas bacteria infection, is not a mold. The term mold has been used for over 20 years in the nail industry to describe what has most likely been a Pseudomonas bacteria, but mold is not the correct scientific term. Whereas mold is a fungus, the greenie, aka Pseudomonas bacteria, is not a fungus but a bacterium. The greenie can be easily spread when you're using unsterilized files, nail dust from filing, cosmetic brushes, or anything that is not cleaned, when you're using it on different clients. The way to basically get rid of it is really by just removing the acrylic nail and exposing that greenie to the air. Once it hit the air, it basically dies. And then also, you can use alcohol to wipe the nail off really good. And then you should be able to apply a artificial nail immediately. Unless the natural nail is very soft, then you should wait for like 2 weeks until their next appointment and see if their nail is in good, conditions to be able to apply a new nail. So basically, usually like with her, the last time, that's when she had the lifting and she had that green spot. So of course I removed those nails. We did a new set, and as you can see, she has on the clear nail tips. That way I can keep an eye on the nails to make sure that they grow out properly. But that green stain, it is going to be permanent. It's just going to have to grow out. You can't file it off or anything. You just have to let that green spot grow out. And of course, when you have acrylic nails, you will be able to see your natural nail growing out. So that green spot literally just has to grow out. And I know that the green spot is not cute at all, which is why usually I like to just go ahead and of course clean the nail off really good and just apply a new tip and just cover it up. And this is something that it can be prevented, as far as like, of course, cleaning all of your tools, but then also sometimes, a lot of the time, it comes from the nail lifting. You guys know that, sometimes you can hit your nail and the back of it lift, because just last week that happened to me, which is why I cut my nails down. So if I would have left my nail to where it was lifting and water would have got trapped in there, and then most likely, if I didn't change my nail, then I would have got a green spot on my nail. So, a lot of the time it cannot be prevented. I know the other day I had a girl, message me saying that she was really nervous or worried because one of her clients had a green spot on her nail. So again, this is not an infection. It's not a fungus. It's simply a bacteria. Yes, it's still, bad, but it's not super bad to where you have to worry about it. Again, you do want to make sure that you are well informed about stuff like this, because you don't want to share the wrong information with your clients. You obviously don't want to scare them off, because that is the first thing that they're going to say to other people. They're going to be like, hey, have you been to Natalie? And they're going to be like, yeah, girl, she gave me a fungus. And then she's going to get scared, and then she's going to tell the other person, because that guys, or you guys know that people like to share more negative stuff than positive stuff. So you want to make sure that, again, you are well informed of stuff like this. That way you're not sharing false information, or not necessarily false information, but just the wrong information, because you don't want to tell somebody, yeah, like I gave you a fungus, when in reality is just, a greenie, which is just a bacteria that is all over our environment, and it just happened to be able to grow, where there's moisture. And if you get lifting and there's moisture trapped underneath your acrylic nail, it is possible that you will get a greenie. But anyways, I've been talking for long enough, but hopefully this video, this little clip was helpful to a lot of you guys, or just anyone that was wondering what that green spot on her nail was. So I'll let you guys keep watching, and I hope you guys enjoy, and excuse whatever I have going on. It's late. It's literally, I don't even know where the time is on this computer, but it's literally 10 o'clock. So I am about to get ready to get in the bed, and this video will be up pretty soon. So just keep watching, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Alrighty, so once we finish removing the gel polish, now I'm going to go in and push the cuticles back. And then also I do want to mention that all of these supplies that I'm using are new. Ever since I moved over to my other room, I wanted to go ahead and get new everything. So whenever I do my new room tour or nail room tour, I will be giving you all the details about everything that I am using. But anyways, after we finish pushing back the cuticles, I'm going in with a 180 sanding band to remove the shine from the natural nail. Remember that when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're really gentle because we're literally just removing the shine from the natural nail. And then also again, I know I talked about the greenie again or already, but I do want to mention that again, those nails were already replaced the last time. So now we're just in the stage where we're just letting that stain grow out. So I don't want you guys to think that, you know, she just got it and I'm just leaving that nail on. Again, we are just letting the spot grow out now, so there's nothing to worry about. As you can see, I do have a clear tip on there. That way I can keep a really close eye on it, but it will just eventually grow out. But again, we're just removing the shine from the natural nail. And then since she did break 2 nails, I'm going to go in and apply the nail tips. So as always, just measure the nail tips. Make sure that they fit from sidewall to sidewall. And then I'm going to be using my KDS glue. And we're going to be applying that nail tip, making sure that we're holding their finger really straight. And then we hold the nail tip on there for a few seconds until it's glued down. So again, make sure you measure the tip before you glue it on there. Make sure that it's not too big or too small. You want it to fit from sidewall to sidewall. And then just apply the glue on the tip and just place it on the nail. After that, we're going to go ahead and just trim the tip down to the desired length. And then we're going to measure them against each other. And then we're going to cut the sides a little bit because we are going to shape them into a coffin shape. So this is just going to save us time whenever we actually start shaping the nail. As always, I'm using my 100-100 nail file. We're filing at a 45-degree angle on the sides and a 90-degree angle at the free edge. Remember that you want to make sure that you're watching what you're doing when you're shaping the nails, because you will be able to see your shape change. If you don't pay attention, you could possibly have a crooked nail. But anyways, once we finish shaping up the nails, we're going to go ahead and dust them off, and we're going to go in with the primer. So as always, I am going to be using the OPI Bondex. I'm going to be only applying that to the natural nail, because if they have any little cuts, it could possibly hurt them or burn them. So again, we're just applying the primer on the natural nail. After that, as always, we're going to be using the Mia Secret Acrylic System in the color pink. And I'm going to be using my number 10 Alpha brush, which you guys know are my favorites. And I will leave the link down in the description to all of those products as well. But anyway, since we are doing a fill, my first bead was closer to the cuticle area. And then, of course, since this nail was the one with the glitter, we did file off a lot of the product. So we have to go back in and make sure that we have a good thickness as well as a good apex. That way we don't have any breakage. So remember, it's really important that when you're working, you're looking at the nails from the sides to make sure that you have a nice apex, because that's where your nail gets its strength from. And if the nail does not have a nice apex, then most likely your nail could break off very easily. So again, make sure that you're paying attention to what you're doing. And then again, the brush that I'm using is a number 10. Make sure that when you're working, you're wiping off your brush a lot, because if not, that product will be stuck in your brush and it's going to be nearly impossible to have a flawless, smooth application. But again, we've placed that first bead closer to the cuticle area, brushing it down towards the tip and then applying more wherever it's needed. Remember, you can stick to a certain method, which is going to cause it's gonna cause your process to be a lot easier. But also you want to make sure that, of course, you know, if you still need to add a little bit more acrylic, don't think that because you're sticking to a certain method that you can add more. You can absolutely add wherever you need it. Just make sure that you're not working with too much product, because if not, at the end you will have a lot of filing to do. But anyways, as you can see here, this was the nail that we had to repair. I'm doing the 4-ball method. So I did the first bead right in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meet. I placed the other one right below that one, closer to the tip. The third one was this last one that I just applied closer to the cuticle area, making sure that I brush it down really good. And then that fourth one I'm placing closer to the cuticle area as well, and that's what's going to build our apex. Remember that when you're applying the acrylic, you don't want to brush down too hard because then you're going to be brushing a lot of the product off. And then of course, if you get any product on the skin, be sure to wipe it off immediately, because if not, it will dry off. It will dry up really quickly, and most likely you could get lifting. Alrighty, so same thing for the other hand. We're going to place that bead right in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meet, brushing it down towards the tip, making sure that we're brushing really gentle. And then as you can see, as soon as I seen that product rubbing over to the sides, I went ahead and wiped it off very quickly, because if not, I promise you it will dry up super fast and it's going to be really hard to remove. That second bead I placed closer to the tip, right below the first one, brushing it down towards the tip. And then the third one I'm placing closer to the cuticle area, patting it down and very gently brushing it down towards the tip. Again, make sure that you clean around that cuticle area really good, and also making sure that you're wiping off your brush a lot while you're working, because if not, that product will get stuck to your brush. And I know that I say this stuff a million times, but trust me, all of the things that I tell you are crucial to you doing nails. It's either going to be a break or make type of thing, because it's really just doing good nails is really just preventing lifting. Being able to prevent lifting is how I feel like or I feel like when you get to that stage is how you know if you're ready to work on other people. You don't want to be doing nails on other people when you know that your nails will lift really quickly, because it's going to make people not want to come to you because their nails are not going to last. So again, if you are a beginner, the way to know if you're ready to start working on other people is when you no longer have lifting. And yes, that is going to take a while, but for the most part, you just have to practice over and over again. Eventually, after practicing on myself as a beginner, I did start practicing on my sister, and then I used to watch her nails, for lifting. And then eventually, whenever a lot of the lifting stopped, that's when I started to do other people's nails, because again, you don't want to be having people paying for their nails and then they only last a few days. So make sure that again you practice over and over again. It is going to take a while, but if this is something that you really enjoy doing, you're not going to give up and you're going to just keep trying. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and finish off the acrylic application, and then we're going to move on to the next step. So after I'm finished applying the acrylic, we're going to go in with that same 100 nail file, and we're just going to be reshaping the nails. As always, we're filing the sides at a 45-degree angle and the free edge at a 90-degree angle to make sure that we have that perfect coffin shape. And remember, it's really important that when you're working, you're looking at your shape as you're filing. That way your nail is not leaning more to one side than the other, and that way you'll have a really nice shape. Because honestly, I feel like even if the nails are not, the best, if you have a really nice shape, it's gonna make the whole nails just look a lot better. So I do highly recommend that you practice on your shape a lot, to be able to have a better presentation, I guess I could say. Maybe that's not the right word that I was looking for, but you know what I mean. So once we're done reshaping the nails, we're going to go ahead and go in with a fine drill bit. As always, I'm using the ceramic fine drill bit by Macard, and we're just following around the cuticle area, starting from the right side over to the left side, just going back and forth until you're able to see where the natural nail is, or sorry, where the cuticle is, where the natural nail is, and where the acrylic is. Also remember that if you are a beginner and you're still having a problem with laying your acrylic really smoothly, you will have to do a little bit more filing, because you have to make sure that you get all of those bumps and lumps out. So you have to just keep filing until all of the nails are nice and even. And then of course you have to look at the nail from different angles to make sure that they are all nice and even, because if you just look at it from the top, you're not going to be able to see all those bump and lumps. So again, this is a fine drill bit. This is what you always want to use when you're filing the acrylic. Also, just a little reminder that when you're using this one, this is just to basically smooth out the acrylic. When you're removing gel polish, you want to use a coarse drill bit because that's going to remove a lot of the product. And then whenever you're just prepping the natural nail, that's when you use a 180 sanding band. Alrighty, so now we're just going to go in and buff the nails. Remember, this is just going to get rid of any of the scratches left on the nail from the hand file or the e-file. So you want to make sure that you do not skip this step, because if not, you will be able to see any little scratch through your polish. So again, we're just buffing all of the nails, and these buffers I actually get from eBay. The last time I bought them, I bought like a box with 500 of them. So I am very highly stocked on them. But anyways, again, we're just buffing the nails, and then after this we're gonna go ahead and just dust the nails off, wipe them off with an alcohol wipe, or you can have your client go wash their hands, and then we're gonna start the polish application. So for the polish, the first color that I'm using is in the color Ballet Slippers by ESSIE. And as always, this is the one that I use whenever I'm doing the ombre nails. You guys know that I like to do a really light pink or off-white color underneath. That way my colors stick to the nail. Next, I'm going in with this D&D gel polish in the color Sandy Brown. And we're going to be doing that on the pinky, the ring finger, and the thumb. And then on the index finger, we're going to be doing a glitter. So as you can see, this brown is actually a really pretty color. I don't think that I've ever even used this color. I think it's my first time, and I am just absolutely loving the color. I feel like in person it shows off more of like a little tiny hint of purple, but it's still more brownish, so I really like it. But anyways, again, we're gonna do this color on the ring finger, the pinky, and the thumb, and then the glitter on the index finger. And then of course we're letting that middle finger dry, and as always I do a base of that Ballet Slippers on the middle finger and then not let it dry. That way whenever I come back to do the ombre, it's nice and dry and we're not gonna mess up that base. And for the index finger, the color that we're using is by Madam Glam in the color Stardust. As you guys know, I do have a promo code for them, so I'll be sure to leave that link down in the description, as well as the promo code. After this, we're going to go ahead and wipe around the cuticle area, and then we're going to put the hand underneath the light for 30 seconds. So while we cure the first hand, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other hand. Again, we're doing the ballet slippers on the middle finger. We're going to do sandy brown on the pinky, the ring finger, and the thumb, and then stardust on the index finger. And then we're going to cure that for 30 seconds, and we're going to come back and do a second coat on both hands. Alrighty, so for the ombre, I'm going to be using that same sandy brown color and a white. So the white that I'm using is actually from Walmart. And as you can see, it's super light. I can tell whenever I opened up the bottle that the color was going to be like really watery and like translucent. So I am going to switch over to using the D&D, I think it's called like Snowflakes or something, and it's just like literally a white. And both of these are the regular nail polishes, but as you can see again, that white was super translucent. So I'm using the white by D&D, and then I'm going to have to come back in and do another coat. I didn't want it to be super thick because I did have to come back in and add the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the other hand and do the same thing while the other one dries a little bit, because again, I don't want that polish to be super thick, and I also don't want to mess it up. As always, the makeup wedge sponges that I'm using are by Dollar General. They come in a pink package, and I believe it's only like $1 or $2. And they actually last me a pretty long time, and you guys know that I do the ombres pretty often. But again, just apply as many coats as you need to. The color doesn't get super thick, but since I had just apply a few layers on this one, that's why I wanted to go ahead and switch over to the other hand. But when you do the ombre nails with regular polish with using that sponge technique, the polish dries up really fast, so you don't have to worry about letting it dry for so long. But anyways, for the pinky, we're going in and just doing like an ombre effect with that same Stardust glitter, and then we're gonna go ahead and let this hand cure for another 30 seconds to let that pinky dry. Alrighty, so now we're just going to go in with the IBD gel top coat. Remember that since the middle finger is regular nail polish, we want to make sure that we check and make sure that it is 100% dry before we apply the gel top coat on there, because if not, the top coat could crack or wrinkle if that regular polish is not completely dry. But again, like I mentioned earlier, when we do the ombre look with the sponge, usually the colors dry up really fast, so I don't have to worry about them cracking or wrinkling. But if you were just to do 2 coats of just a like normal color, you would have to make sure that it is completely dry. Alrighty, y'all, so here is the final look. They turned out really pretty. That glitter is just absolutely flawless, and y'all, that shape though. But anyways, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at GetNo32, and I'll see you guys next time.